Hello, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Beautiful Seeds. And today we're going to be talking about anger. And anger is something that many of us struggle with. Some of us don't show anger, some of us show too much anger, and some of us have understood how to show anger. And we're going to be talking about what that means according to Islam, what that means according to psychology and biology and all that good stuff, inshallah. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Bismillah, let's dive in.
Beautiful Seeds, you are the masterpiece.
So in Islam, there's three types of anger, and I have written about this in my book, The Woke Writer, a companion for the conscious Muslim woman writer. And these three types of anger are, number one, there's an extreme kind of anger. Number two, there's negligent. And number three, there is righteous anger. So extreme anger is what it sounds like. It's extreme. It's rageful. It is burst of anger. And you hurt people around you. You hurt yourself. And that is a form of extreme anger. And you will express this anger in a way that it actually breaks the boundaries of Islam. And that's how you know it's extreme. Now, another kind of anger, which is so interesting, is a negligent kind of anger. So what this means is that you're not getting angry for the things that you should be getting angry for. And this isn't repressing the anger. You're just not angry about it, right? So a good example about this is something that maybe my sisters can relate to. It's, for example, when your spouse is talking to someone or someone is talking to your spouse in an inappropriate manner. And there are these things that go around sometimes where Muslim women or just women in general, they'll say that they're absolutely okay with that. But that's a negligent kind of anger, because the healthy reaction for a couple is that there's a form of ghira, right? There's a form of jealousy, which is healthy between couples. And there are so many non-Muslims psychologists who talk about this concept as well. But let's just reel it back into the idea of negligent anger. And this can also show up in cases of injustice in the world. So for example, if there is someone who is being treated a certain way and then you just don't really let that bother you, that's a kind of negligent anger. And these two types of anger, negligent and extreme anger, are blameworthy, right? And finally, the type of anger which is talked about in Islam is healthy anger. And this is the kind of anger that our Prophet, peace be upon him, displayed. And subhanAllah, when I talk about the physiological types of anger and how they are expressed, you will see the benefits and the fruits, subhanAllah, of the wisdom of how our messenger, peace be upon him, used to express his anger, right? So when he was angry, he was shown as his face being very red, but he was still smiling. And there was this relaxed state, and he looked more focused, right? And that is a healthy kind of anger. And it was for a righteous cause. It was for when people disrespected Islam in some way or disrespected Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in some way. It was never related to him himself, right? And I'm not saying that for us as the followers of our messenger, peace be upon him, using him as a perfect example. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be angry when people treat us a certain way. In fact, a true anger in our day and age and in our lives, showing it properly is when people have trespassed your boundary, and when there is this feeling of anger within us because someone has done that, that's a sign that, okay, there needs to be a boundary that is being put down and this person has trespassed it. Now that is the Islamic aspect of anger, but there is another part of this too. And I read this in the book by Gabor Mate, When the Body Says No, and he talks about the different kinds of anger. And the context that he was talking about it was how a lot of women, and we do this too, especially if you're an introvert, especially if you're a Muslim sister and growing up in a home that maybe anger wasn't accepted, it was not seen as something that was good or whatever, we tend to internalize anger. And what that looks like is we repress the anger that we feel. And even if that anger is when someone is putting that anger on us. So people might vent and they might talk and they might, shout into the air, and then they'll tend to kind of like throw it on us, and we'll internalize that anger because it's the quote unquote right thing to do and the best way to do things, right? But in truth, it's okay to be angry. If you are angry and you are feeling that physiological reaction, because that's what true anger is. It is a physiological reaction inside of the body. Your body is going through a process, right? And the important thing is to let it go through that process. It might take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds for that feeling to wash over, and then the anger is released. But the key is to allow that anger to go through our bodies, right? So we talked about how there's a physiological type of anger where a lot of women and people will repress their anger. They will hold it inside of themselves. When someone upsets them, they won't say anything. They will hold it inside of themselves, right? And just let that build up and really contaminate parts of our body inside of us and get us sick, right? And that's what happens when we repress our anger. And the second type of anger, which is extremely unhealthy, is rage. And we know that it is an unhealthy kind of anger if it is rage, because we are hurting another person or we are hurting ourselves. And that is the key indicator that is unhealthy anger. If you ever wanted to know if your anger is healthy, if you're expressing it in the right way, it's unhealthy if you are hurting someone else, if you are trespassing their boundaries, or if you are hurting yourself, right? And finally, there is the healthy kind of anger. And that, again, like I said, it is something which is a physiological reaction telling you that something is wrong and something has happened which you should be bothered about. And a survival response is to react to that physiologically, right? Now, I keep saying physiologically. What that basically means is you allow your whole body to feel what the anger is coursing through you, right? And then you stabilize that feeling. And then once you've let that anger release in that healthy way, what that shows, and a show of healthy anger is that you're actually not tensed up. You're not in a state where your heart is beating like crazy. In fact, a sign of healthy anger is where your shoulders are actually more relaxed, your forehead is more focused, and your chin is even more relaxed. And that's actually a sign that you're experiencing healthy anger. And that takes a while to get to that place. But the first thing is to acknowledge that we are angry and to feel that anger within us and let that go, inshallah. And you can also calm yourself down from that anger as well. If you feel like you're getting to that stage of rage, there are so many Islamic principles and advice in the hadith, in the narrations of our Prophet, peace be upon him. For example, making wudu, grounding yourself, right? Touching something that will help you to release that anger in some way, into praying, bowing your head to the ground and just coming back to yourself, right? Over and over again. So anyway, inshallah, I hope that you can see the parallels between what Islam defines as anger and the kinds of anger, and what the physiological, subhanAllah, research and shows of what anger and what types of anger there are. And I hope that we are able to feel our anger as well, inshallah. Now, one small thing that I want us all to do, inshallah, is observe your reaction the next time that you get angry, right? How do you feel? Where is the feeling in your body, right? Is there a heat coursing through your body? Is your heart beating really, really fast? And the key thing to do during this time is feel the anger. Say someone said something to you that just was not very nice. It trespassed a boundary. You feel the anger and allow yourself to observe that feeling inside of your body. And how does that show up for you? And then look at how you react instantly or not instantly, because you're going to be observing, inshallah, but see how you react towards that feeling of anger. Do you constrict yourself? Do you feel like as if you're going to hold that in and just kind of almost tighten the hold on your belly in order to let that anger internalize? Or do you instantly just start shouting and screaming and throwing things around? So the key thing here right now is to observe your reaction to anger, inshallah. And once you become aware, that is when you will begin to ask the question, how can I deal with my anger appropriately? And there are so many amazing resources out there. And one of them is When the Body Says No by Gabor Mate, whose whole book is about listening to our bodies and honoring ourselves and our identities as well. So when people trespass your boundaries, you know how to react and you know what to do in order to be the best version of yourself and be the healthiest version of yourself. Because when we internalize anger and when we express it in that extreme way, in that rageful way, it has an effect on our bodies. So for example, there's been so much research done that when a person is rageful and angry, it actually leads them to have a heart attack. They're more likely to have a heart attack. And when a person internalizes their anger, they're more likely to have certain sicknesses, certain cancers, certain kinds of things which are dysfunctioning inside of the body, which can show up in so many ways, right? So the first step, like I said, is to observe your reaction when someone makes you angry. And I pray that we can be the best version of ourselves all the time. Jazakallah khair for being here with me. And I just wanted to let you know that I do have a free poster for you. It is the 6 pillars of the spiritually woke woman. And within that poster, there are different steps and different things that you can do in order to really level up in your connection with our Creator. And it is a holistic approach. That is my approach to everything that I try and do, because everything I believe is related to one another. It is all connected. Our bodies, our minds, our souls, our emotions, and all the things. And I am also offering free coaching sessions, free first coaching sessions, a discovery session with me for 45 minutes. So make sure you check out all of that information. It is in the links wherever you are listening to this podcast. Jazakallah khair for being here with me today. And we will speak soon, and I will speak to you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Have a blessed day. Remember, you are the seed, and you have so much potential inside of you. You have so much to give to the world. If you like my content, consider booking your free discovery call to see how we can work together in your growth. Check out my website, www.aishaalam.com, to find out more about that and other courses and books available for you.